My girlfriend thinks I slept with her sister. I was drunk, and I'm not even sure if I did or didn't. These past few weeks, I've been staying at my girlfriend's house. She lives in the same house as her family, but her parents own another house which they usually live in another city, and that's where they are now. So it's just her and her little sister there. Because I like to spend the nights with my girlfriend, I spent most nights at her house in her bedroom and switch between that and my apartment. We like being together, and my apartment is small and dingy, so that's why it's usually at her place. We kind of had a fight a couple of weeks ago. She went out to a party with her friends and said she wouldn't be that long. I stayed up all night waiting for her, but she didn't come back until the next morning. Of course, I was really upset, and I shouldn't have assumed the worst, but I did, and we got into a fight. The same thing happened last night, and she promised this time she would just be a few hours. I know the parties that she goes to have boys and girls there. I stayed up all night watching shit on TV, waiting for her. I started drinking. One glass of whiskey after another, just out of boredom, waiting for her to come back. My mind was circling around, thinking where she could be, why she could be taking so long. I feared she would not come back until the next morning. Now, this part is really fuzzy because I was drunk as fuck by this point, and I could barely walk. I decided to call it quits and staggered up to her bedroom to go to sleep. I usually sleep in my underwear, so I got down to my underwear, and I was surprised to find that she was in bed, or at least I thought it was her. Normally, I would have questioned what was going on, but in my drunken state, I must have assumed that she got back early and went to bed without me realizing. I remember muttering to her, "I'm sorry I got so mad at you, honey," and kissing her neck, and then cuddling her and going to sleep. I have no idea if anything else happened. I don't know if sex happened. I wish I could say that it didn't, but I have no memory of the event. The next morning, I had a painful as fuck headache. I remember waking up to my girlfriend's screams as she walked into the room in the morning. What the hell is going on? I was still dreary and unaware of my surroundings as I came to and realized that I was lying in bed with her sister. We were both in our underwear cuddling, and her sister was facing me directly. Obviously, it looked bad. My girlfriend was raging. I tried to explain, but the scene itself was incriminating enough. She told me to get out of the house, and she kicked her sister out as well. I have no idea where she went. I was in such an awful state, and my headache was so bad, I barely had any idea what was going on. Painfully, I went back to my home where I've been all day. I've been trying to call my girlfriend, and I have not been able to reach her. She's not been responding to any calls. I tried to call her sister once as well to find out what the hell happened, but no response. I honestly have no idea what happened. Did I cheat? Did I have sex with her? How does that even happen? I know for certain that I kissed her neck, but I thought it was her. I didn't know that it was her sister. Why the hell would she be in her bed? Why didn't she say or do anything? Why was she cuddling me in the morning? What can I do? How can I find out what happened, or at least convince my girlfriend that I didn't cheat, even though I don't even know if I did or didn't? In the comments, no matter how much explaining you do, she will never get over this. Time to move on and learn how to drink responsibly. OP replies, "You're telling me. I don't even normally drink that much. I guess I was just feeling abnormally depressed, and I was trying to soothe my worries and fears. I don't know if I have an alcohol problem, but I would be happy to go to Alcoholics Anonymous or any form of rehab if that helps." Axe Bosch replies, "To my way of thinking, you don't have an alcohol problem, you just aren't aware of your limits and effed up. Learn from it and don't do it again. If a pattern develops where you start drinking to black out as a way of handling situations, spoiler, this is a bad way of handling situations, then something is more seriously wrong, and you should look at more serious steps. Having one episode where you drink too much doesn't make you an alcoholic or in need of therapy. Dude, you were raped. Don't let anyone blame you. Also, get a drug test done. I don't know enough about this to give you specific advice, but you may want to go to the hospital and see if there are any other tests to get done." Edit, Jesus Christ. I just scrolled through the rest of the thread, and it's entirely textbook victim blaming. People are accusing him of lying, of staging this thread to win over his significant other, and of having a drinking problem. We should always assume here that our OPs are telling the truth. What's the point of an advice subreddit that does not give advice? We aren't here to judge, just to help. With that in mind, let's give advice that's actually helpful, because it's 100% reasonable that if you're drunk and in your significant other's bed late at night in the dark, you might confuse their sister for them. The girl raped him because he did not consent to have sex with the sister. Yeah, I agree. If you were that drunk and you did actually have sex, that is assault on the sister's part. She took advantage of you, and you should seek every avenue that you can to get recourse for this. The damage appears to be done in this situation. It doesn't appear to me that your girlfriend is going to believe you. That's just how these situations play out sometimes. And it's unfortunate, OP, and I'm sorry that this happens to you. But really all you can do is take the advice of this thread and action that advice. And now, onto the update, 8 days later. Okay, it's taken me almost a week to muster up enough energy to write an update. I wasn't going to, honestly. I didn't see the point. Things have been miserable, and my life has been falling apart, but I'm slowly picking the pieces back up. A warning to everyone reading this story contains rape. Yes, rape. I am slowly accepting and living with the fact that I am now a victim of it. I tried writing this, but it was too confusing, so now I'm re-editing it. I'm going to use girlfriend and girlfriend's sister in all cases to refer to those people to avoid confusion. When I made the last post, I had lost contact with my girlfriend, and she was not responding to my calls. I eventually did manage to reach through to girlfriend's sister, and she was really upset. She said that her sister had thrown her out of the house, was threatening her, and not even accepting to talk to her. I talked to girlfriend's sister, and I told her she has to tell me exactly what happened, and that it was very important because girlfriend was in danger. She was extremely upset, acting rashly, and could possibly hurt herself. Girlfriend's sister told me that she will tell me the whole story, but she made me swear that I wouldn't tell girlfriend. I lied and said yes. From her story, it sounds like she intentionally took advantage of me, knew that I was drunk and thought she was her sister and used it as an opportunity to have sex with me. Apparently we did have sex. After she told me that, some of the memories started faintly coming back to me, and I think I do very slightly remember that we had sex now. What's worse is that she said there was no protection and she was scared of pregnancy. She had a test later. She's not pregnant. I managed to eventually reach through to my girlfriend, and I told her the entire story as I've said it here and in the last post, plus more detailed of course. I told her everything girlfriend's sister had told me. Girlfriend was disgusted that this had happened and completely shocked, but she believed me, and she was very apologetic for accusing me of cheating. She told me that I had been raped and that it's not something that I can just brush off. I told her that I didn't feel traumatized or anything by it, but agreed that what happened was rape. Girlfriend became even more furious at girlfriend's sister for raping her boyfriend. She told her to get out of the house, and she hasn't been back in the house since. Girlfriend has swore that she will never ever talk to her again, and from her fury, it sounds like she will live up to it. She hasn't spoken to her since. We've talked about what happened extensively, and I won't get into details here, but she has been extremely supportive of me because I was taken advantage of. She suggested that I go to counseling services or something, but I insisted that I don't need them. The whole situation was extremely strange and horrific. It feels weird to be a victim of rape. I don't feel much different, I don't feel traumatized, but I'm still aware this thing happened to me where I had control of my body wrested from me. It's a strange feeling. In the comments, the same girlfriend who was going out to parties, saying she'll be home, and not showing up until the next morning? Handling one situation well does not make a person awesome. And OP replied, "Well, we talked about that. She won't go to parties anymore, and I will stop drinking." Am I the asshole for refusing to let my girlfriend bring her dead dog's ashes on vacation? My girlfriend, 29 female, and I, 28 male, have been together for 4 months. She had a dog that died a few months before we met. I've only ever spent the night at her place. I live with my sister and her 2 kids, so it's a little bit chaotic at my place. Girlfriend has a small, 2 to 3 inches tall urn on her bedside table with the dog's ashes. Before she turns off her lamp to go to sleep, she always gives it a little tap on the top and says, "Good night," as though she's talking to the dog. I think it's weird, but I've never said anything. We were supposed to go away for the weekend. On Friday, I was watching her pack and noticed she took the urn and put it in the top pocket of her backpack. I asked her what she was doing. She said she didn't want to leave the dog behind. I told her she was not allowed to bring the urn, as it made me very uncomfortable. I didn't want to see it anytime we returned to our hotel room. I didn't want her talking to a dead dog after we've had sex, i.e., before we go to sleep. It's weird, and frankly, she's been mourning this dog for too long. She didn't argue. She simply started to unpack her bag. She told me to have fun on the weekend getaway, as she would not be coming. I asked if she was seriously choosing a dog's ashes over me. She said she was choosing herself over me, as I could have spoken to her with kindness and empathy, but didn't. She also said that I didn't get to dictate how long she's allowed to grieve. Then she asked me to leave. She hasn't replied to my texts, and I think she's overreacting. My sister said that she can see both of our sides. Am I the asshole for thinking that my girlfriend is weird for being so attached to her dead dog's ashes? Edit. The hotel was non-refundable and only a 3-hour drive, so I went on the trip without her. She started seeing a psychologist around the same time that we started dating. She hasn't told me any specifics, but she said the trauma of suddenly losing her dog brought to the surface other trauma in her past. This is why I think she's been mourning for too long. She's still attached to the dog, even after seeing a professional on a regular basis for several months. In the comments, Crimson Knight says, "She didn't argue. She simply started to unpack her bag, yada yada, then she asked me to leave. Your girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend most likely, sounds amazing. I wish she was my friend because she sounds like an awesome person to know. Sounds like you lost that privilege by being an asshole. You're the asshole." Everything she said was 1000% correct. I don't even have anything to add because she spoke for herself so clearly. The fact that you still don't get it shows that you have a fundamental problem actually hearing her. Read and reread what she said until you get it. Edit. You do realize your second edit makes it worse, right? She's working with a psychologist. She's going at a pace that is healthy and comfortable for her, and she has a professional to help her with that. You don't get to decide what is too long for anyone else's trauma or grief. How dare you think otherwise? If you can't keep yourself from butting into her personal affairs like this, then you aren't ready for a real relationship. This. Girlfriend was totally right that she was choosing herself over him, as she should have. What an asshole. A simple compromise would be, hey, can I get you a necklace so that you can take a small part of him everywhere, etc., so you don't have to take the whole urn and everything. The only thing that I would add for sure is that she isn't going to grieve this relationship for as long as her beloved pet. Bruja Toxica says, "You aren't the asshole, and I think it's really weird to travel with ashes. You dodged a bullet in my opinion. You could have used nicer words though." And OP replies, "I don't think I dodged a bullet. She's a wonderful woman, I just didn't want a reminder of a dead dog while we were supposed to have a fun and relaxing time." And Wow Lovely says, "Everything she said to you was true and correct, and in fact, very admirable communication and self-respect on her part. Why do you care so much? When my soul dog passes, I have no idea how I'll behave, but if giving his remains a little good night every night helps me get through, then I will be doing that. I'll do that until the day that I die if I fucking want to. Get a grip." People are so extremely weird around grief, and it honestly makes me sad. And people, no, not like your girlfriend people like you telling others how to grieve when they're not harming themselves or others. Also, edit to add, You've been in her life for a couple months. I venture to guess that her dog has been in her life for at least a few years. And given her age, I'm also assuming that the dog was with her through some very formative moments in her life. How dare you come in and expect her to stop her connection, earthside or not, with something that has been in her life way longer than you have? OP replies, she only had the dog for a few years. Anybody answering replies, and she's had you for 4 months. Dog has seniority. Man, I don't even have anything else to add on this one. I just loved these comments. I feel like they're taking the words right out of my mouth. I don't know why OP is coming and being so brutally honest with us about the severity of the situation, but I very much appreciate it. This is the kind of energy I needed today. I needed someone to just be an overt asshole, because thank you. Thank you for not hiding it. This is great. And now, onto the update 3 days later. Update, and I'm sure this will make a lot of you happy. I get it. I'm an asshole. I texted my girlfriend to say that I'm sorry for how I spoke to her and for dismissing her feelings. It was wrong. I also said that I would like to apologize in person and offered to bring over her favorite takeout. She said, all good, don't worry about an in-person apology. I gathered the things that you've left at my house. Let me know when you would like to come pick them up. I'm hoping she'll hear me out when I go to her place. Edit 3. To those of you DMing me who think I'm not the asshole but won't post a public comment due to the risk of being downvoted, please stop. That is cowardly. To those saying that my girlfriend is a lunatic, a sociopath, unhinged, a trauma dumper, has endless emotional baggage, in need of a mental institution, etc., please stop that too. While myself and others may not understand what she's going through, that doesn't automatically make her mentally unstable. She has a good heart and a good head on her shoulders. Name-calling is unnecessary and borderline crueler than I was. Final update. I shared this post with her, thinking that it might help her see that I was wrong and am owning it, and maybe it would open the door to discussion. That blew up in my face. I probably should have deleted some of the questionable comments that I made in this thread. She texted to say, your things are now in a garbage bag on the porch. Pick them up sooner than later so they aren't stolen. Goodbye, OP. Please respect my wishes and don't text me anymore. And here are some of OP's quality comments. I didn't realize that it was still a touchy subject for her. Certainly not something to break up over. What the fuck? Bro was born yesterday, that's for sure. I get that now. I was merely trying to explain why I thought our fun weekend plan ranked higher than an urn. I never said that I was more important than her dog, just the remains. If I had taken the time to ask her about it, instead of speaking to her like a child, maybe things wouldn't have played out the way they did. I'm not trying to compete with the dog. I just don't know of anyone else who talks to the ashes of their dead dog. The point I was trying to make was that having the dog for only a few years means she couldn't have been as attached as someone who lost their pet of 10+ years, and raised them since it was a puppy. She doesn't take them anywhere outside of her place, which is why I thought that it was weird that she wanted to bring them on our trip. As others have pointed out to me, she probably just wanted to continue her bedtime routine of saying goodnight. I would ask her, but I've decided to give her some space. I guess I don't know what she gets from it. She never told me, and in fairness to her, I never asked. And I don't think that I've called the dog it to my girlfriend. I know it was female. I've said things like, she looked like a happy dog. I'm sad that I didn't have the chance to meet her. I called the dog it so that I wouldn't confuse anyone by writing she, in case it wasn't clear that I was talking about my girlfriend or her dog. I don't know how OP thinking that showing her the post was going to somehow win her over. Bro just put his delusions out in the world and was like, see? You can see where I'm coming from, right? I'm the good guy here. Or, I realized I made a mistake. We can fix this. Like, come on, man. You didn't realize it was such a touchy subject, and you don't think it was one to break up over? You cannot be serious. You genuinely cannot be serious when you say something like that. Take this as a lesson. Stop showing people the Reddit posts. More often than not, it's not going to work out the way that you think. And if anything, your actions have shown that you have no actual empathy towards her feelings in general. Do you actually care about this person? Or do you just care about being right? Like, I'm getting that energy from you. Please take this as a learning lesson and be a better person next time, OP. Regardless, thank you for the story. Our next post is by user ImpressiveGarlic488, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole for demanding that my fiance's parents change their plans to have a vacation at the same place as our honeymoon? My fiance and I have our wedding coming up in April. We had brainstormed for a while on where best to spend our honeymoon. We went over the more popular and well-known places, but then landed on a more offbeat destination that I felt would truly be a great place for us to start our life as a married couple. I've been looking forward to it just being the two of us. I know that he has a really hectic work schedule, and we were going to make the most out of this. A couple of days ago, he told me that his parents had been impressed by how hyped I was about it and were planning on going there for a vacation too, largely overlapping with our dates. They're staying at the same hotel as us. I was livid. They can go any other time. Why now? He said he had suggested that, but his mum said that they had taken time off for the wedding too, and that it worked well into their plans. Also, that since we're going to be going back, it'll allow them to maybe see us a few times before we leave. I was almost in tears. I was so angry. He tried to reassure me, saying they had promised it'll be two separate things and they won't be inserting themselves into our honeymoon. They want us to enjoy it, and they would be doing their own thing. I want to believe it, but I know his mum. I like her as a soon-to-be mother-in-law, but she can be very clingy and routinely laments how far he, and now us, are from them, so I just have a feeling that the two plans are not going to be as independent as he thinks they'll be. I vented about it to my parents too. My mum agreed with me that this isn't right, my dad is more on the fence about it, and he doesn't think that everything is ruined. I've demanded my fiancé makes them change their plans. He says he asked them to, and they promise to do their own thing. What can he do? Tell them he doesn't believe them and call them liars? I messed up here and said if that's what it takes. He got quiet. I realized that that was too much and sincerely apologized for crossing the line. This has been eating me up. I was envisioning a certain type of honeymoon, and this happened. Am I the asshole? In the comments, AshlynM2 says, "Not the asshole. As much as it sucks, the only way to truly secure an in-law-free honeymoon would be to cancel your plans and go somewhere else. Not ideal, but there is no way you're not going to accidentally bump into them the whole time they're there." And OP replies, "A few other commenters have said this too. I truly appreciate what you're saying, and I know I'm overreacting here, but this makes me want to bawl my eyes out." You're not overreacting. If you think that this will change post-wedding, think again. This is your future. When people show you who they are, believe them. And this is a mama's boy. Exactly. I'm sure everyone in your life would tell you that you're overreacting to draw a line over this one thing and something so small. But why are they insisting on pushing this small thing instead of letting you maintain your very reasonable boundary? Why is your fiancé/husband willing to placate them over this small thing instead of standing up beside you? And this will be your life. Nobody will say that you're overreacting 20 years down the line after a constant deluge of distressing boundary-stomping incidents that have destroyed your joy in life. Why put yourself through 20 years of it before getting divorced? That map was tightly rolled up until this incident. Only now you see the lay of the land and your future if you marry this man. People say that Reddit is too quick to jump on the divorce bandwagon, but in reality, there are patterns of behavior that always play out the same, no matter the characters in the act. Why live through the drama just to say one time you got married and it didn't work out? Save yourself the time and emotional damage and go look for a better partner now, and maybe you get a chance to have a great marriage. It is only a small thing because they want to make it one. No reasonable human vacations anywhere near their adult child's honeymoon. Not a single one. Not the asshole. This is truly manipulative of your in-laws. Your husband doesn't see this, and that is a concern. Your in-laws absolutely intentionally did this, and you will see them more than you want to, and they will insert themselves into your honeymoon. This is just gross and narcissistic of them. You can change your own plans, go to a different place, or just not marry a guy who is a pushover to his parents. Agreed. Change your destination and don't tell them where you're going. Frankly, you don't even need to tell them that you've changed your destination, and they'll find out when they get there and you aren't there. This is unbelievable boundary crossing, your future in-laws. And if you let them get away with this one, there are going to be more. Not the asshole. I would personally change the hotel, or the dates, or both, or stay at a different hotel the dates that they're going to be there. Also, a no cell phone policy, so they can't get a hold of you. But to be honest, this is a husband problem and not an in-law problem. He should have shut her down point blank at even the suggestion of going to your honeymoon destination at the same time. And OP replies, dates can't be changed really. Like, I'd be okay with that, but I know that it wouldn't work for him. He had to move around some work stuff for us to finally land on these dates. A different hotel could work, but this is like a coastal area, and I really wanted a hotel close to the beach, but I'll start looking for some others too. This hotel had really good reviews too. And because it's not a huge city or something, if people want to meet, it's not too inconvenient, which sucks, because what if they decide they do want to meet? And what if we meet on the beach? I just have to change what I plan on wearing too. I'm really just hoping they change their plans, because quite honestly, if I'm the one that has to change plans, I might not end up being a good daughter-in-law. Ah, man. I don't know. I can see why people advocate for just divorce at this point, because this is some absolute bullshit. This is actually a nightmare. These in-laws suck ass. This husband, who is like, oh man, I don't want to talk to them about it, it's like, what can I do? What a pussy. What an absolute mama's boy. Like, Jesus Christ, grow a backbone and say, what is wrong with you? Jesus boundary stomping Christ. Holy boundary stomping Batman. Cancel it right now. You two psychos, cancel your plans. You're not invited to my honeymoon, and you're not going to be gate crashing it. Your honeymoon is not a vacation. This is a power trip. This is gross. Either get those two to change their holiday plans, or change your relationship status with this guy. I think this is a hill to die on. And now, on to the updates. Hi, thank you for the advice in the original post. I thought over this more, and I was heartened by the response here because I thought that I was the one being over the top about this. But I saw that most people agreed that what they're doing isn't right. I really didn't want to change plans, so I planned to talk to him again, speaking respectfully about his parents, but firm, because last time I had gone over the line a bit, which had derailed our conversation. We met yesterday after work. I raised the issue with him again. I said that he knows how much I'd been looking forward to our honeymoon. I only plan on having it once, and his parents being there will ruin it for the both of us. I also said that I didn't want to change anything about it, not the hotel or the destination, it just wasn't fair. He said he doesn't like that they're coming either, but they're giving their word to not interfere. But to me, it's not about believing them, just that the honeymoon that I had in mind is going to get ruined with them around. I told him that this wasn't a trivial annoyance for me. This was actually making me unhappy, and I need him to do something about it. He said he'll handle it. Well, first, he told me that knowing his parents, especially his mom, she's going to feel slighted by us. We're going to be living a 3-hour flight away from them, so it's not like we're going to see them too often, but he said he just wanted me to know that that was going to happen. I said that I'm fine with that. Probably could have been more tactful, but he found it amusing. He said he'll handle it, so I waited. Last night, he told me that his parents were canceling their plan. I asked him how it went, and he said that it went fine. They said that it would be 2 separate plans, but he told them that their plan was becoming a problem and asked them to change their plan, as it would mean a lot to him. So they did. They hadn't booked tickets yet, but they're looking into either getting a refund on their hotel reservations, or my fiancé suggested delaying it to some time later in the future. I told him that I was sorry that he had been put in this position, but I was so happy about it. I started tearing up too. This had just been bearing on me so heavily, and I was so glad that it was back to the way that I have it in my mind. Also, I know the stress of wedding and work has been bearing on him too, and I didn't like adding this stress onto him either. He said that it was a very short and simple convo with his parents. I thought there would be a big argument because they hadn't been swayed previously. My parents were also really happy for me. My dad thinks that it wouldn't hurt to call my mother-in-law and just apologize for what happened, not in a "I'm sorry I did this" way, but more of a "I'm sorry this happened" way. My mum thinks there's no need. My fiancé thinks it's up to me. I'm really glad that I came here and found out that I wasn't overreacting, or I wouldn't have had the confidence to ask for my honeymoon back. Thank you. Edit: there won't be any apologies. His parents had asked for pictures from us during our honeymoon, but I'm not sending shit. His mum complained about me to my mum that I'm not making an effort to become a part of the family, how hostile I was, and how I didn't understand the importance of relationships. My mum stood up for me and said that I have no duty to anyone except my soon-to-be husband. I take back whatever I might have said about me generally liking my soon-to-be mother-in-law. I'm done. They've cancelled their vacation. That's what I wanted. I'm going to smile for the family pictures at the wedding, and once we fly out, I'm done with her. In the comments, $10 on them still turning up as a surprise. OP says, I've been really happy about the fact that they're cancelling it, and a lot of the comments are suggesting the same thing as you. Can I just ask if this is just meant as a joke, or do you all think this is actually going to happen, because this is making me panic a bit again? No, I actually think it's going to happen. I've read enough stories over on r/justknowmother-in-law to know how this will end. Everyone on Am I the Asshole likes to live vicariously through these posts by turning them into supposed real-life Lifetime movies. Have you ever seen the sheer number of warnings when, say, a sibling is being a pain about wanting something the OP has? Keep it locked up. She's gonna steal it. She'll steal it and then frame you as stealing from her. Okay, maybe not that last one. This is similar. Some people are probably really joking. Some enjoy making doom and gloom predictions. I doubt anyone but a vanishing few have actual IRL experience that would back these predictions up. But we've all read the horror stories of a few, many of them posted on r/justknowmother-in-law, an unknown number of them AI generated. You know these people in real life, and the rest of us don't. If you judge them to be generally non-unhinged, please don't give this a moment of worry. And OP replies, thank you. This helped calm me down. I'd been proud of how I handled all of this, and I was panicking again after reading some of the comments. My soon-to-be in-laws are not crazy, they are just intrusive. Saying they're not going to come and then showing up unannounced would be out of character for them, and my fiancé, who knows them best, is confident that the matter is settled. Here's something that might help. There are two possibilities. Either they really have cancelled their plans and you'll have a wonderful honeymoon, or they haven't and they will expose themselves as liars. If they're the type of people who care at all about their reputation, they don't want to be exposed as such. If they aren't crazy, they have to know how that would make them look. I don't care if I was overreacting before. I'm a dramatic guy and I like being dramatic. I'm glad that a semblance of sanity came into the comments of this update. No, everything is not doom and gloom, and everything is not the end of the world. No, most people do not have first-hand experience with these things. But it does help to be prepared, and it does help to ask for help when and if these situations ever do pop up. I'm very much glad that OP's soon-to-be husband did reach out to them and said, hey, this is not good. I would really appreciate if you guys just cancel the plans. And they did it. Communication wins again. Thank you, holy communication Batman. Good luck going forward, OP. I hope they don't intrude in your life anymore. That final edit, though, that's kind of crazy. I don't blame you for distancing yourself from her after all of this. I'd be done with her too. The fact that his mum bitched to your mum about you is crazy. She deserves to be cut off or at least very low contact by you for that stunt. Like, who does she think she is? Thank you for the story, OP. Very much appreciate it. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.